Here's what's in the news now.
Indiana Governor-elect Mike Braun is now sharing his vision for Indiana just a day after winning the office over his challenger, Jennifer McCormick.
And he laid out his priorities for the state this morning while speaking with reporters. Jenny Runovich is here with what he plans to tackle in office.
Well, really those kitchen table issues, guys, that he mentioned during the campaign, especially health care and property taxes. He says not everything will get finished in one legislative session, but he vows to start fast.
The morning after former business owner Mike Braun celebrated a commanding win in the governor's race, he outlined his business plan for leading Indiana.
It's going to be my vision of being an entrepreneurial governor that's going to be conservative on the financial side, but very entrepreneurial on the problem-fixing side.
Braun calls the vision a platter of opportunity filled with kitchen table issues he campaigned on: education, housing, property taxes, and his top concern, health care reform.
It's the one that we have the worst results compared to most other states. If we get that correct, that will singly be better than what we've probably done collectively over many generations of past governors.
The 70-year-old, now leaving the U.S. Senate for the State House, says he'll take ideas from any constituent, any party. But he says the margin of victory for Republicans on Election Day gives him leverage with the legislature. In his first 90 days, he plans to tackle property taxes and look at every state agency for efficiencies and savings.
And it's not going to be hard for me and my team to discern whether it needs major overhaul, minor tune-up, or it's working well.
What about Lieutenant Governor-elect Micah Beckwith's role? The two were a forced coupling. Beckwith was not Braun's pick. And the ultra-conservative pastor and podcaster has focused more on social issues, which Braun says cause division. But both men say this political pairing works.
And it's been a benefit in a way because it's kind of brought the party together.
You know, he's got the vision, I've got the energy, and you kind of bring that together, and it's really a dynamic duo.
And it's my job to make sure that the full spectrum of what being a Republican is about in this state is then going to be focused on the kitchen table issues I've been talking about.
Now, today, Braun also touched on potential economic development plans as well. He said he wants to fertilize small businesses, homegrown businesses, as opposed to attracting big corporations only. And that was a bit of a jab to current Governor Eric Holcomb, of course, and the state's Economic Development Corporation. So lots to get to.
Yes. All right. Thanks so much, Jenny, for that wrap for us today.
Indiana Attorney General Todd Rokita says his convincing re-election is a referendum to keep fighting for the Hoosiers who voted for him.
Our Rich Knight joins us now live in studio after he talked with Rokita earlier today about his priorities for what now is his upcoming second term. Rich.
Right, and the very first topic that was out of his mouth today: illegal immigration. He says he will use Indiana laws to help President-elect Donald Trump with his deportation plans. And Rokita says he will continue to defend the legality of Indiana's abortion ban.
So far, we've been able to uphold Indiana's pro-life law, and I'm proud to have been able to do that. Again, we do have a regulatory aspect. If there's a doctor that performs an illegal abortion, and we get a complaint about that, we'll certainly enforce the law when it comes to that. That's a civil matter, so it would be a matter of their professional license. There's also a criminal aspect to that kind of action, which I would not be involved with. That would be your local county prosecutor.
Rokita received more votes than Governor-elect Mike Braun. And I asked Rokita today if he was interested in serving in the Trump administration. He says Donald Trump is a friend, but he says he declined to put his name on a list of people who might be potentially interested in serving in the Trump administration. He says he likes this job and he's here to serve in that position.
All right, Rich, thanks so much. And you can still check out the latest on the key election results for key races across the state. You can do it also for your county if you go to our website. You can reach that by scanning this QR code that's on your screen. It'll take you to WTHR.com/elections.
Tonight, the Delphi murders case is in the hands of the jurors. In just a few hours, they will resume deliberations to determine the fate of Richard Allen. Thanks for inviting us in. It's now 11 o'clock. Richard Allen, as you know, is charged with killing Abby Williams and Libby German in 2017. But did the state prove his guilt beyond a reasonable doubt? That's up to 12 people from Allen County. They heard the closing arguments today from the prosecution and the defense. We've got team coverage of these developments. Our Chase Howell talked with our legal analyst about life for the jury as they weigh a verdict. But we want to begin tonight at 11 with Emily Longnecker, who was in court today and breaks down the final messages from both sides.
Both came with powerful moments with words for the jury to consider as they contemplate whether Richard Allen is guilty or not guilty of killing Abby Williams and Libby German. The state went first, laying out its case in chronological order from the time Abby and Libby left for the Monon High Bridge, where Libby captured Bridge Guy on her cell phone, to finding the girls' bodies. Then interviewing witnesses on the trail that day, searching Richard Allen's home, testing his gun to see if it matched the bullet found at the crime scene, and listening to jailhouse confessions Allen made to his wife and mother. In his one-hour closing argument, Nick McClellan said all the pieces fit together. He played Allen's jailhouse confessions, letting jurors hear again Allen say over and over he killed Abby and Libby. The prosecutor told the jury, quote, Bridge Guy murdered Abby and Libby. Richard Allen is Bridge Guy, telling the jury Allen, quote, stole the youth and life away from Abby and Libby. He asked the jury to find Allen guilty on all 4 counts of murder. Then the defense laid out its case. Defense attorney Brad Rosie told jurors the state kept a lot of information from the jury it did not want jurors to know about because of what he said was an investigation by the state that lacked credibility. Rosie reminded the jury Allen came forward to police right after the murders, letting them know he was on the bridge that day and offering his help. Rosie said none of the witnesses on the trail and bridge the day of the murders identified Allen as Bridge Guy, also reminding jurors there is no DNA, fingerprints, or digital evidence linking Allen to the crimes. Rosie also spent a lot of time talking about how Allen's harsh treatment in prison led him to make false confessions during psychotic breakdowns, saying Allen's solitary confinement was a form of modern-day torture. Rosie then asked the jury, "Where's the moral compass?" telling them, "You are the moral compass. We are asking you to set Richard Allen free and find a verdict of not guilty." The state got the final word in a rebuttal closing, telling the jury that Abby and Libby were victims but also heroes because they provided that cell phone evidence that led police to Richard Allen. The jury will be back here tomorrow at 9 a.m. to resume deliberations. When they come to a verdict, we will bring it to you right here. In Delphi, Emily Longnecker, 13 News.
Our Chase Howell continues our live team coverage tonight. He's been sitting down with our legal expert. So, Chase, did she give you any indication how long this may take the jury to find a verdict?
Yeah, Scott. So she says due to the number of witnesses and exhibits, it could be a while before we reach a verdict. The next time we'll see the jury back in this Carroll County courtroom will be to read the verdict. How soon that happens is up to those 8 women and 4 men. But it raises the question, is the old adage true that a short deliberation indicates a finding of guilt?
Our theory is usually the opposite of what you're saying. It's that a fast verdict is for the defense because a jury could quickly decide not to take away someone's freedom, right? And so a longer verdict is normally for the state because they're really thinking through it. And so I think all of those things are just a bit superstitious.
Now, what does it look like when jurors deliberate? 13 News' Katie Jackson-Lindsay says oftentimes jurors will start off by taking a poll on who believes the person is guilty or not guilty.
Sometimes jurors go back there and they are unanimous at their first vote, at their first count. And they say, okay, that's enough for us. We're going to go back and give our verdict.
While that may be an ideal scenario for some, Jackson-Lindsay says it's not likely.
If you have 8 and 4, 8 not guilty, 4 guilty, it could be 8 people trying to convince those 4 to come to the not guilty side. But I've also had it where we've learned that there was that breakdown and those 4 people convinced the other 8 to come to their side. And so it really is a give and take, back and forth.
But if all the jurors can't agree on one verdict after days of deliberation, that's what's called deadlocked.
The judge will then inquire as to whether or not they think additional deliberations or additional time will allow them to reach a unanimous decision. If they say no, the judge has to use her discretion to decide if she should declare a mistrial or a hung jury.
In the case of Richard Allen, Judge Francis Gold says jurors will deliberate from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. Monday through Saturday, but jurors have the option to take more time if needed. Chase Howell, 13 News.
News that the jury could reach a verdict any time drew a crowd outside the courthouse today. This case, an emotional one for people in Delphi and around central Indiana. There are these blue and purple ribbons wrapped around the city's streetlights, the girls' favorite colors, a sign of support for their families who've waited more than 7 long years for answers. Hoosiers also interested tonight in the outcome, hopefully finding justice for these 2 teen girls.
Over time, we just all in the community became invested in seeing it through to the end.
And we're also hearing tonight from Libby German's sister, Kelsey. This morning, Kelsey posted on social media echoing the sentiments of community members writing justice for Abby and Libby. Be sure to watch our Delphi Debrief show. It's on WTHR+. This is our in-depth look at this trial. Bob Siegel, Emily Longnecker, and our legal experts breaking down the major developments from the courtroom weeknights at 10. You can stream this show on demand right now. WTHR+ is our free streaming app. You can get it on Apple TV, Amazon Fire Stick, and Roku. Tonight, young boys talked about grief after one of their own was shot and killed on Halloween. 17-year-old Deshaun Gilbert was found dead in a neighborhood on the far east side of Indianapolis. Logan Gay was there for the discussion tonight and shares how the boys are now coming together.
Sitting in a large circle in a gym, members of New Boy met Wednesday night for their weekly New Boy Leader Circle. The founder of New Boy, Kareem Hines, says the space is a therapeutic and safe space for the boys to open up.
We feel together, we reveal together, and then we heal together.
Healing was a focus on Wednesday. This time, the group gathered around a young New Boy member to support and pray over him while he grieves his brother, 17-year-old Deshaun Gilbert. The teen was shot and killed in a neighborhood Halloween night.
It was just like spiritual. It was like, cause like I'm a Christian, and I like doing and helping.
Gilbert's mother also sharing her grief with the boys and warning them to choose their friends wisely, something that didn't fall on deaf ears for some members.
I learned that you should know who you're around, and you shouldn't like let your friends set you up, and you should be able to be who you are instead of letting your friends make you be who you are.
Hines says this is what it looks like when you listen to young people and empower them to use their voices.
Because we've given them and have spoken life into them, they feel confident enough to speak life into somebody else.
Dealing with a traumatic loss like this can be hard for anyone, especially kids. But Hines hopes the love in this room will always be a reminder that they have some place to go.
We hope that our young people walk away from today understand that it is okay to grieve. It is okay to cry. It's okay to laugh. It's okay to be a part of a family. It is not okay to go to social media and get revenge.
In Indianapolis, Logan Gay, 13 News.
This morning, a 19-year-old man is facing charges for robbing another man of his money before shooting him on the east side. That shooting happened in August, but 13 News discovered the suspect had already been sitting in jail for more than a month. According to Marion County jail records, Keshawn Kimbrough has been in jail on several violent charges since September. Police say they used phone records to tie him to this particular case. We talked with the victim, Babaton D. Jaggi. He tells us he was trying to buy a phone on Facebook Marketplace. He allegedly met up with Kimbrough to pick up that phone on Tacoma Avenue near Washington Street.
He brought out the phone. I was like, oh, let me see the phone before I give you the money. He said, okay, no problem. He gave me the phone. I said, this phone is not working.
So that's when Jaggi says Kimbrough snatched the phone out of his hand and pulled out his gun, demanding Jaggi's wallet and cell phone. Immediately, he then started shooting. The victim says when he got away, he immediately called police. As for his injuries, the bullet, he says, grazed his back, but he says all of this could have been a lot worse.
Yep, Taylor Swift's Eras Tour has come and now it's gone.
Oh my gosh, what a weekend. We welcome thousands, hundreds of thousands of Swifties for the last stop here in the U.S. leg. Anna Chalker shows us how the city today is still feeling the impact.
Indianapolis, Indiana.
Taylor
Swift left the Circle City feeling enchanted.
Everyone loves Taylor Swift here.
This weekend, the city welcomed around 200,000 fans. From trading friendship bracelets, events all around downtown, and 3 sold-out shows, there was something for every Swiftie.
I think we're going to hear the word record-breaking a lot after this weekend from the amount of people that visited our small businesses, museums, restaurants.
While 2024 has been a big year for the city, Visit Indy says the Eras Tour ended the year on a high note.
That was so exciting to have in the city across 3 days because you could feel the energy and the love and the passion that this fan base brings, and it just brought a happy vibe into downtown.
Well, Taylor Swift's U.S. leg of her Eras Tour may be over.
But one Indiana girl is still reliving the moment that she got to meet the pop star during the Sunday concert at Lucas Oil Stadium. Look at this. One of the most anticipated moments of the tour is the 22 hat giveaway.
Yeah, this is that really key moment when Taylor gifts an autographed hat to one hand-picked fan, a very lucky fan. On Sunday night, that fan happened to be a native of Rushville, Evie Martz. She's an 11-year-old, and her mom scored the tickets last minute, an hour before the show.
Wow, and then the surprises kept coming. Evie and her mom were guided to the front of the stage. That's when Taylor shook Evie's hand, gave her the fedora, and accepted a friendship bracelet from Evie. Taylor's only handing out 149 autographed hats during the tour.
It's the only chance for fans to get that one-on-one kind of VIP experience with the singer. And look at those big smiles there. And
Smile
big
says it all.
That is cool. They got the tickets an hour before?
Wow.
Just think, they had no idea it was coming. I love how she goes right to the end of the stage, gets down on her knees, and really has that hug and moment and photo with a young fan.
Welcome back. In a wire transfer worth thousands of dollars sent to the wrong place by accident.
After weeks went by with no resolution with the bank, the customer then reached out to us. Allison Gormley tells us what's the deal with how to protect your wire transfers.
Cindy Kuster is trying to track down her money.
I sent a wire to Italy through Chase Bank, and it is still missing.
The almost $3,400 was supposed to pay for part of a trip, and this payment method made the most sense to her.
It was a 3% credit card fee in order to use the credit card, so I thought I might as well just send a wire, which is $50.
Kuster said she handed off the routing directions to a bank employee who punched in the info. Weeks later, the travel company said they never got the money. That's when Kuster noticed the account number on her receipt was just 2 digits off.
Well, I didn't panic because I thought, I'll just go in. And I spoke to the employee who did it, and she saw everything, and she knew, and she was walking around the Chase branch to ask for help.
But Kuster said help never came, despite notifying the bank and its corporate offices well within the 180-day reporting window.
I consistently call, consistently email, and I don't get help.
The Consumer Financial Protection Bureau site says when it comes to wire transfer investigations, financial institutions generally have 90 days. That timeline means Kuster could be missing her money into December.
I know it's all relative at $3,400, but it could be $40,000 and someone could be in a lot of trouble.
After we reached out to Chase, they said we apologize to Ms. Kuster for our error and let her know that we've credited her account in full. Kimberly Palmer with NerdWallet said wire transfers work similar to cash.
Once that money is gone, it's gone. You can't really track it or retrieve it. There are a few exceptions. For example, if you, within half an hour, want to cancel an international wire transfer, you might be able to.
The CFPB site also says financial institutions are generally responsible for correcting mistakes, including delivery of funds to the wrong recipient. To protect yourself, mistake or not, triple-check the account information. For example, have the employee read back the routing number to you.
There's definitely an argument for putting some extra guardrails up, but we'll see if that happens.
Until then, it's up to you to prevent possible headaches.
These are also emails with
Even though this was not Cindy's fault, triple check those numbers because ultimately it becomes your problem at the end of the day to figure out.
Yeah, so again, she tried to resolve this on her own multiple times with Chase and got nowhere. You got involved and she got her money back.
Yeah, she went through every effort. She filed a complaint like she was supposed to, but she felt going weeks without any sort of response or resolution wasn't acceptable. And kind of don't blame her, even though technically they have 90 days.
Yeah. Good job.
All right. Thank you, Allison Gormley, reporting.
She's very glad she called Allison. Well, if you like Allison's What's the Deal segments, catch her show that streams on WTHR Plus. You can download the app now. You can do so on Roku, on Fire Stick, and Apple TV.
Well, right now at 4:30, for the first time, we are hearing from the Indiana Fever's new head coach.
Yes, Stephanie White is here. She's coming to Indy after last coaching the Connecticut Sun. Of course, she is no stranger to Indiana, and she's no stranger to the Fever franchise. Karen Campbell is live at Gamebridge with more on Coach White. Her big introduction today. Hey, how you doing, Karen?
Hey, pretty good. You know, the excitement is still filling this Gamebridge Fieldhouse because Stephanie White is excited to be back home in Indiana. She says she's humbled and she's grateful to now be the Indiana Fever's new head coach, or newest head coach. We all know she's from Indiana. She's happy to be back closer to her family. She addressed a room full of media this afternoon alongside Fever president and the COO and GM, who called her the, quote, perfect choice for the Fever because she's a proven leader. Now, White, we know, played for the Fever from 2000 to 2004, later becoming assistant coach for the Fever. That was from 2011 to 2014. And the very next season, she became head coach. Now, White says she has goals for this team because she wants them to be the best. Take a listen.
I'm a forward-thinking, outside-the-box kind of coach. You know, I like to challenge them on a number of levels. They are a high IQ team, so also giving them the freedom to make plays. Like, you want to make plays, you don't run plays. I mean, everybody knows at the end of the day, players win the ball games, right? You got to give them the freedom, the confidence to believe in their abilities to make those plays, but also a little bit of the structure to help them see the different ways that you can attack. You know, I think we've got to get better on the defensive end of the floor. You know, certainly, you know, we don't have to make leaps and bounds and go from wherever we are to the top, right? But we've got to continue to get better.
Yeah, and White says, you know, one of her goals is to hang another banner inside the Fieldhouse, and we just cannot wait to see what she will bring to the table, to this Gamebridge Fieldhouse, and what she will bring to this team. Now, if you stay tuned at 7 o'clock, you can watch her extended interview. That's going to be on WTHR Plus. Ladies?
Oh, it's so exciting to have her back. Thanks so much, Karen. Fever now, but then, or Pacers now, but then Fever season.
Yes, we'll be curious to see what kind of impact she's going to make.
Hi, everybody. Week 10 of the NFL, Inside the Huddle, brought to you by Republic Airways. Thank you to them. DeForest, Buckner, kind enough to join me. You guys get a chance to be back home. 4-5. It got a tough game, but first of all, being able to play in front of the home crowd, it's huge.
No, yeah, most definitely. You know, obviously we're working to get back to 500 and against a really good Bills team, and you know, what better way to do it than this Sunday back in our home turf.
Get after it. Josh Allen playing great football. 6 different games this year, they put up 30 or more points. They know how to put up points. How do you slow down Josh Allen in that offense?
Yeah, definitely. You know, obviously, I mean, really, this year they've been really doing a good job in the run game. And, you know, as a defense, obviously we struggled, you know, early in the year and everything, and we got to do a really good job of shutting down the run and then getting after Josh. You know, keep trying to keep him in the pocket because he's a really good player with his legs, and he can extend plays, and that's where they get a lot of their explosives.
You've been in so many close games this year. Minnesota, of course, the same situation. Can you feed off of that? You're almost there kind of mentality?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you know what, you got to learn from the bad. You got to take the good, you know what I mean, from the previous game. And we definitely made some strides, you know, defensively, especially, you know, early throughout the game. Obviously, we want to finish better. But, you know, guys are doing some good things and taking the ball away.
The offense, of course, struggled last week. Ryan Cowley is now officially out on IR for probably 4 weeks. That's a big loss.
Definitely a big loss. You know, I'm just glad that we were able to get Tanner Borrellini some reps, obviously, and he started a couple games early on in the season, and he's done well. And you know, it's the next man up. You know what I mean? In this game, it's 100% that you have some injuries, and I mean, it was a big loss for us with having R. Kelly on IR, but you know, we just need Tanner to step up.
Get after it. All right, Inside the Huddle, we've got a Riley Kid of the Week. Who's the kid this week?
Yeah, Riley Kid of the Week. We got Jamarian Young from Fort Wayne. He loves basketball, race cars, and playing with his dog, Sweets.
I like that. Good luck this weekend. Thanks for the time. Thank you to Republic Airways. Big donation going to Riley Hospital. Inside the Huddle on 13.
It is really the end of an era downtown. After almost 3 decades, the Regal Theater at the Circle Center Mall is shutting down. This movie theater opened back in the 90s, and it was one of the main attractions for the mall.
But that is now changing as new property owners are taking over. Our Marion County reporter Lauren Kostick tonight looks into what's next for the once crown jewel of Indianapolis.
The signs inside the theater now reading permanently closed as another main anchor of the Circle Center Mall here downtown packs up, paving the way for redevelopment in the coming year. 30 years ago, Circle Center Mall was the place to be. Now,
it's like a ghost town.
Many of the storefronts are empty, and the shops that do remain are struggling.
I remember as a teenager to come down to the mall. It was great, exciting, and lots of things to do, and there's just not a lot there.
Regal Theater serving the latest blow, quietly posting this sign on its box office announcing its final curtain call. For decades, the theater was the marquee attraction of the 4th floor with its iconic neon lights. Now calling it quits as the mall's future is put in jeopardy. Back in April, Hendricks Properties acquired Circle Center Mall, announcing a massive redevelopment project. It's the same company behind Bottleworks downtown. On Wednesday, 13 News reached out to see where the project stands. So far, we know the company plans to spend $600 million over the next decade, gutting the inside and creating an outdoor area. It'll be done in 4 phases, but it's still not clear when that construction will start. The CEO telling 13 News last year he plans to preserve the charm of the once bustling mall.
We really want to make sure that this is going to be something that not only we're proud of, but everybody in Indianapolis and Indiana are proud of too.
As Circle Center continues to lose business, customers are hopeful a second act is on its way.
We wish they would turn it back into a good mall, get more businesses in.
I hope it comes back with a roar.
In Indianapolis, Lauren Kostick, 13 News.
Again, we reached out to Hendricks Commercial Properties about this construction timeline, and we were told they're working with the state's Economic Development Corporation to determine the scope of this project. As soon as we get more details, we'll let you know.
Well, tonight, WTHR is proud to help kick off the Riley Children's Foundation Holiday Giving Campaign. Riley is one of the top hospitals in the country, serving over 57,000 patients each year.
One of them is 12-year-old Lucy Byers. Our Sunrise anchor Julia Moffett has more on her connection to Riley and how you can help raise money for the hospital.
There are not many 12-year-olds like Lucy Byers.
What do you have?
At just 9 years old, doctors at Riley Children's Hospital installed a pacemaker in her young heart.
So I was born with a heart condition called heterotaxy. So basically, like, when I was born, my heart was broken. So I had 2 heart surgeries and 1 intestinal surgery.
The one constant in the Byers family since Lucy's birth, Riley Children's Hospital and its doctors. And Mom Courtney could not be more thankful.
Crazy. I've lived in Indiana my whole life, and I just did not know how fortunate we were to have Riley right in our back door, because your life can change in a second, and that's okay. Take a deep breath, and then, start your journey, advocate for your child, and you just got to trust and surrender it. And
Lucy is down to just 6-month checkups with the Riley doctors, but now, year-round, the Byers look for ways to help raise money for the hospital.
We do a lunchbox drive for Riley, and that just like we put like things in it to help raise money for Riley, and then people come in buy the lunch boxes, and then we deliver them to Riley Hospital.
Next up, all the dance marathons on college campuses, which she says is exhausting, but every bit worth it for Riley.
The doctors and the nurses there, they take really good care of you, and they're always so kind to you and so welcoming, and they make sure that you're safe there, and everything is gonna be okay.
Oh, well, you can learn more about the campaign online. Just look for this story on our website at WTHR.com.
morning we are looking ahead to next week because guess what? Chuck has another great adventure for us.
And this time, Chuck and the team headed to Pennsylvania. So this morning he's got a sneak peek of the great spots that he found. Chuck, I've been looking forward to this ever since
thank
you said
you.
chocolate.
It has been so much fun, and we're calling it Perfectly Pennsylvania because, folks, the Keystone State has so much to offer, and honestly, I feel we barely scratched the surface. But we're going to kick things off with a sweet start. It's a name we all know. Hershey.
Yum.
And for more than 100 years, the company's been creating sweet confections for every taste. From milk to dark chocolate, Reese's Cups. By the way, it's not Reese's, it's Reese's.
Oh.
To Kisses, they've got it all. And you can see how it all happens inside Hershey's Chocolate World. We'll take you inside. And ladies, I will have a very special surprise for you on Monday.
Ooh.
How about that? Then we're off to beautiful Bucks County, home of the Mercer Museum and Fonthill Castle. Now, these are two places you just have to see to believe. We will take you inside to see the magnificent architecture and collections created by Henry Mercer and explain how a pair of fireplace tongs started all of this. Then we're headed to the sacred ground of Gettysburg. It is the battle considered the turning point of the Civil War. Now today, the story of the past is told through the monuments and relics of war throughout the town. We will meet the men and women dedicated to keeping history alive for generations to come in a very, very moving visit. Then, it just might be the most unusual place to spend the night. We're going to take you inside the Haynes Shoe House, no joke, and explore how this wild and wacky home came to be the coolest part. You can stay there too. And what would a Chuck's Big Adventure be without a wild ride and me risking my neck? That's what my wife thinks. I'll hit the rapids on a whitewater rafting experience that I will never forget. The best part, there's a trip for every skill and comfort level. And I can't wait to share this with you. It was one of the most fun big adventures we've ever had, and that just touches the hem of the garment. We have so many other great stories too, as part of Chuck's Big Adventure in Pennsylvania that begins Monday.
Oh, looking forward to that.
My comfort level ended at the chocolate.
Right.
Well,
I know where I would stay.
And again,
Yeah.
you've got to watch on Monday because I have a very special gift for both of you
like the sound of
that you could take part in too if you visit Hershey's Chocolate World.
All right. We know you'll be putting these, of course, online. So for
Yes.
this Monday, you can also visit. You'll also be sharing a lot more information on your blog.
Right, at WTHR.com/Chuck's Big Adventure, as well as 13 Plus later on next week.